Hey everybody, welcome back to Thoughts by Jay Brown. This is not the video you think it's going to be because, in my audio podcast, you know what? I don't even think I've posted that. Never mind. I think I mentioned it in my blog post about the podcast movement and Ben Shapiro, but I'm going to reiterate it here. I am doing a video, or I'm trying to do a news presentation style version of the video or a video on Ben Shapiro and the podcast movement incident 2 weeks ago. Well, what will be about 2 weeks ago now. Last Sunday, a week ago yesterday, I had sent out messages to both podcast movement as part of my I'm not going to support you anymore, and then also to the Daily Wire asking for comment, neither of which has responded yet, but I still intend to make my video basically rehashing what my blog post is, but in a visual form. But that's not what we're here for. So we are here about something else. So let's hit that intro.
Greetings, program!
All right. So what was brought to my attention last night, I don't know if it was during VTM, Veterans Talk Monthly, or if it was in our after show hangout. Bonners Ferry, Idaho is dealing with something that is just backwards here. I don't even know how to say it. Let's just switch over. And if you hear any clicking, it's because my Stream Deck is not working with the latest update on OBS. Probably because I have to restart, and I'm just too lazy to do that. So, conservative activists want to ban 400 books from the library that aren't even on the shelf. After 9 months on the job, the library director is quitting. Quote, nothing in my background could prepare me for the political atmosphere of extremism, end quote, she said. This is just, oh God. This is just one of those things. I grew up Christian, not super religious in my household. My parents weren't active churchgoers. My sister had a friend who's very Christian, very much Christian, and several friends. We've went to their church. I also grew up, one of my best friend's dad was a pastor. And I went to that church, became a member of that church twice. That said, I am I would have to say I'm, agnostic in this case. I can't prove that there's no God. I can't prove that there is, and I'm open to the possibility that there is. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I am the most devout Christian when I rail against these people either. So, for months, a group of conservative Christians have inundated the staff and board of a public library in Bonners Ferry, Idaho, with complaints about books they didn't want to see on the shelves. Their list of more than 400 titles predominantly focused on young adult books with LGBTQ characters, scenes describing sexual activity, or invoking the occult. The only problem, none of these books are in the library's collection. That in of itself, just, yeah, wow. As I'm going to read on, you're going to basically hear about this, but the community there is asking for them to remove these books, which they don't have. So what they really want is the library to say, we will never get these books. Whatever happened to being bastions of free speech? You want to challenge these ideas, then you need to be able to challenge them openly. Banning them does nothing but hide them. So people in your community might, instead of checking it out of the library, spend their money on it. And it might get passed around from kid to kid to kid to kid, so on and so forth. Now, if you destroy somebody else's property, that could get in trouble. So, yeah, it's just one of those things I really hate seeing all this stuff on both sides of it. Still, the activists of the town of 2,500 people want the books preemptively banned. They're fumed that the library planned to join the American Library Association, a nonprofit trade organization known for fighting censorship that local activists falsely accuse of promoting pedophilia. I should have quoted that. They started the campaign to recall 4 of the 5 library trustees over the policy against restricted access to controversial books, putting up signs around the town that read, "Our mission is to protect our children from explicit materials and grooming." And you can see here, this is one of the things. The sign demanding the recall of the library board hangs below the Trump Country sign in Bonners Ferry, Idaho. The fervor has become so heated that the library's director is quitting after 9 months, citing a barrage of harassment that she says made it impossible for her to do her job. Kimber Glidden, 51, a former bank manager turned librarian, said the stress became so bad that she developed a tic that makes her thumb quiver uncontrollably. In Gilden's August 16th resignation announcement on Facebook, she stated that nothing in my background could have prepared me for the political atmosphere of extremism, militant Christian fundamentalism, intimidation tactics, and threatening behavior currently being employed in the community. End quote. Quote, they don't know what comes next. They just want to burn it down, and they're doing a good job. End quote. Gilden told NBC News. Donna Capurso and Adrian Norris, 2 of the trustees recall organizers, did not respond for requests to comment. Quote, we want strongly written policy that will not allow the library to order materials with sex acts, the group stated on the Facebook this month, adding that the American Library Association has brainwashed our libraries into believing that this is a First Amendment issue. Well, that's just it, people. It is a First Amendment issue. It is an issue of the First Amendment that people have a right to read, and the press, this includes book publishers, have the right to have their materials printed and distributed. The government cannot get involved. And depending on how this library is set up structurally, it could be a function of either a state or county government or counties governments. It could even be a city government that's funding and operating this via your taxpayer dollars. Guess what? In that case, the First Amendment applies. So it is what it is. You know, what could you do about it? Except for deal with stupid people, I guess. Back to the other. Why do I keep reaching for that one? I know it doesn't work. The fight in Bonners Ferry is over what books allowed in the Boundary County Public Library echoes battles played out at libraries across the country. Conflicts over literature that discusses sexuality and contains explicit passages have bled from school board meetings into library board meetings as conservative, I guess I better call them far-right activists, call for bans on books, Pride Month displays, and membership into the American Library Association. In August, a librarian in Louisiana was nearly fired after she spoke out against censorship. Local officials in a Texas town suggested that the public library could be evicted if it doesn't reconsider complaints about LGBTQ-themed books in its collection. A group of conservative residents in a Michigan town successfully campaigned to deny funding to a local library after its board said it would not ban books, in an effort that the far-right activists on Facebook and Telegram have held up as an inspiration. Might be time to reactivate my Telegram account. According to the American Library Association, attempts to censor materials in libraries and schools nationwide increased last year to 729, more than double the typical amounts of books challenged in the previous years, targeting 1,597, so almost 1,600 books. More than a third of the censorship attempts occur in 2021 occurred in public libraries, prompting some libraries to ban Black History Month and Pride displays, while others closed due to harassment to LGBTQ employees. It's wrong. Quote: It's wrong when one parent can dictate what information is available to an entire community, which may have the effect of denying the diversity and the varied identities that are already living in the community. Said, end quote, said Deborah Caldwell Gladstone, who oversees the association's Office of Intellectual Freedom. I will post a link to this down below so you can finish reading it, but honestly, I mean, what else is there to say in this? If you are so insecure with your own beliefs that you cannot intellectually engage with other people about them and explain why these ideas are bad, other than my beliefs in Christianity or my religion, then you're not intellectually able to have that conversation then, because you cannot articulate what you mean. Like, you say it's grooming. Okay, how's it grooming? Kids have access to all sorts of stuff that is, graphic in nature, but you don't bat an eye at it. Movies, television. There are some Christian fundamentalists that are very much against all forms of media that even so much as hint as exposing an ankle. So whatever. The point being, if you cannot and are unwilling to actually sit down and discuss these ideas without harassing other people, then you shouldn't be a part of the community. Go develop your own community, which I hear is what's trying to happen here. A bunch of Christian fundamentalists are moving into this area because they want to expand across 3 states really quickly, and this is in the panhandle of Idaho, between Washington and Montana. And these areas are very much conservative in most practical means, but I don't think many of the conservatives are opposed to kids learning about something, even if it's something they disagree with. They at least have the understanding that it's their job as parents to educate their children alongside the schools. And that's the other thing, as far as the left goes. The state should not be teaching your children everything. You need to teach your children as well. And if you choose to teach your children about, the LGBTQ plus, community, great. But also make sure that you teach them that all conservatives are not bad either. And conservatives, you need to learn that not all LGBTQ people are bad either. Most people just want to be treated as humans. Why can't we do that? So keep an eye out. Hopefully in the next couple of days, if I hear back from the Daily Wire or Podcast Movement, I'll be able to go forward with my video. If not, I'm still going to go forward with the video, but I will present it as if, reached out for comment, never got a response. So here we are. So with that, take care. Thank you again. And before I say my outro, I'm starting up a Substack along with my blogs. So I'm going to spend a day or two going through and posting all my Thoughts by Jay Brown blogs over there. And I might set up a separate one for my travel stuff. So with that, if you're looking for travel, hit me up at J, just the letter J, at hopskipinadream.com, all one word. And yeah, with that, take care. Peace.